All right, so now this episode 2 is all about Mike Rinder, right? Okay, and so, it's like literally this created, they're creating his mythology, right? And he begins by saying that he had a real problem with speaking out initially in 2009 because I was mortified that if I spoke out publicly, it would literally kill her, meaning his mother, because she would be so disappointed in him. I was there. I was the reason he spoke out, right? This was never expressed as a concern. His only concern about speaking out initially was that he wanted to get an exclusive deal with the BBC to tell his story because he might be able to get a free trip to the UK because he's an Anglophile, okay? And, and so I had to deal with the wrath of the St. Pete Times and CNN, who originally did the original story, over Rinder's inability to speak out. And this was never an issue. His mother's state of mind or her potential reaction was never an issue. Or a reason. The only issue was he wanted an exclusive that he would get a quid pro quo for. And he would blow it if he spoke out before giving it to the BBC. And then again, they just, you can't lose sight of the fact that the guy's the producer. Rinder's the producer with Remedy. And this is the thing that is so fraudulent about it, because you got to recognize, known or should have known was false. I mean, it just totally applies to him. He knows all of this, right? You could almost use that excuse if it was some guy who was actually doing a documentary who had no background, right? And he was rebuffed by the church and he couldn't get their data, right? And so he could only hear, some of these mistakes but you can't justify it with him. They're with intention, with malice aforethought.